Day Dawns ARKS! Welcome everyone to your Phantasy Star podcast recorded live on June 24th, 2025. I am one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar, and with me here is Rooks. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good morning, and let's hope NGS has a good morning today as well.
Yeah, it's this is kind of one of the big ones again, specifically because we're getting the new roadmap today, and this is really going to show us kind of where things are going to be headed in the near future here. I know I'm looking forward to there hopefully being more than one segment of story here in July, and then nothing else for the rest of the year. Do you have anything specific that you're hoping for, Rooks?
I'm hoping they finally understand not to focus on just Aina and Manon for the story, that we actually want plot details, we actually want details on the enemy, on the new enemy, I'm hoping that they understand that we want plot details on what happened to our characters' friends from the previous game, about what happened to the original arcs, just background details that they have been extremely scared to go over.
Yeah, obviously we've got the Alter Realm coming up in the next little bit here, but you know they left that Chekhov's gun up in the Nameless City, specifically being that giant Clarissa that's up there, which we still have yet to explore, and so I'm really hoping that they'll finally start to address that thing in the near future here, because I would hate to, have to wait another 6 months before we even start to look at that thing and find out, who's in there. Like, I would suspect that maybe the group that broke away from Zeffetto might have something to do with what's going on in that space, at least right now. I think I also mentioned previously my theory that the guy that stole one of the ARKS' trucks back in Christmas 2023 might have also been a part of that group, but I guess we'll have to see what ends up happening here. But yeah, at this point, yeah, we need more substance in terms of what's actually happening in the larger world, rather than what's happening just in Aina and Manon's little world right now. We got to get to the bigger picture, because we had such a reveal back when Vile came out that Nameless City is basically inside of an ARK ship. So Sega's got to start addressing those things soon here.
And I also hope that the upcoming region area that they're coming out with has more to it than just being a clone of Wrexham, because that's, from the screenshots and footage we have already, that's what people are concluding, that's basically just a mirrored Wrexham right now.
Yeah, definitely. Somebody went around to the different areas and basically did comparative screenshots to show where each spot was, basically. So yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, at this point, right now, the new region that they're boasting about, it's looking like a rehash, and it's not impressing anyone at this point. And yeah. It's my suspicion is that if there's no major surprises to this, I suspect they may see another player drop off again, and they can't afford it right now. They are at basically the latest when they did the story. We actually saw a massive influx when they released the story, and the Shadow of the Fallen Star was one of the biggest player count increases we've seen in years. I don't think even Vale actually got that far, got the game that far up. none of the super bosses have gotten the game up that the player count that high again either as well. So it's one of those things where if that's not a signal to them that they need to actually do something with the story, I don't know what is.
Yeah. At this point, I think I said last year or even the year before, it felt like we were just spinning our wheels with the story. And then, yeah, we just got to see what happens here. I'm trying to go into this with open eyes and open thoughts here, but I mean, yeah, if it's just the same stuff as before, I mean, it goes back to that saying, if somebody doing the same thing over and over, I don't think I'm saying this right. You can't expect things to change if you don't change anything.
Yeah. Or as a saying, as the incorrect definition of insanity is what you're talking about. Basically,
yes.
doing this. Yeah, NGS is currently still operating under the idea that it can get away with bare minimal at this point.
And continue to ask for money, which we'll get to that later today. But yeah, aside from story, I'm hoping that we do at least see maybe a little bit more long-term content in the roadmap, but I guess we'll have to see. Here's one for you. Any thoughts in terms of any anime or game crossover you might want to see into the game?
Let me think for a moment. Because I haven't even considered that. Actually, because I would actually love to... You know what? The one thing I really, 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 really want to see... I want to see a crossover with Classic Phantasy Star again. I want those costumes back in NGS spec.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. It's like the game barely has any connection. I mean, granted, there were reasons for that, but now the reasons are kind of gone, given that we know that it's an ARK ship that they're able to that the Nameless City is on. So once again, going back to the story, we'll have to see if anything comes out of that, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, Classic Phantasy Star Online 2, yes, but I'm also thinking I would like to see Classic Phantasy Star, the original stuff from the original trilogy.
That's true, yep.
And it looks like they're starting.
Yeah, they usually do like 2 minutes before. So we still got another minute or so here. As for myself, you know, there's been a long-standing thing that's sort of been owed to PSO2. Kind of going on close to like a decade at this point here. But PSO2 never got anything. Well, no, I guess this is backwards, actually. PSO2 never sent anything over to Final Fantasy XIV, but we did get Odin in PSO2. So that's one thing I would like to see, kind of that portion of that come back around again at some point, but that's partly up to Square Enix. In terms of other things that I'd like to see, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying a while back, Brooks, in terms about doing better food and such. I'd like to see maybe something like Restaurant to Another World as a crossover, and which basically gives us a whole bunch of new ingredients to cook new kinds of stat foods with.
That would be nice, but we're also going to have looking at how they have done the food system right now. I would rather see them revamp the food system before doing something like that, because the current system is built in such a way it only encourages specific ingredients to be used. And it looks like we're kicking off here.
Yes, indeed.
NGS Headline Wave.
Hello everyone! It's time for NGS Headline Wave, the official program of PSO2 New Genesis version 2.
And hey, Janice,
I'm Yui
thanks, for
Hasegawa,
popping
and
in.
I'll be your host for this broadcast. I'll be bringing you all the latest info on NGS. Be sure to stay tuned until the end. Is everyone enjoying the June updates? There are so many this time. I've definitely upped my screenshot game since Animatic Space came out. Now, once again, this program is to inform players about upcoming campaigns and updates for Sega's online RPG, PSO2 New Genesis version 2, also known as NGS. We will also share messages and answers to player questions from the dev team and provide other game-related info. Tune into this program to learn all you need to know about NGS now and into the future. That's Headline Wave in a nutshell. This is a pre-recorded broadcast. If you would like to watch it in Japanese, you can check it out on the Japanese NGS YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's move on to the updates you've all been waiting for.
NGS.
You'd have to give me a good story reason for that, Betsujin.
First off, I'd like to share some info on the July updates. Let's start with a video.
At this point, I don't think Square wants to touch New Genesis with a 16-foot pole.
Could be, yeah. Technically, they've been having their own issues as of late. Whereby the last thing, they just had to make an apology. So a 32-player quest.
Okay, it has a timer, but it doesn't look like it's actually time limited.
Right. So not like Nameless City. Instead, maybe it like pops up in like maybe like urgent quest frequency or something like that.
Also, it's interesting that it's called Ultra Round. And there's one enemy type we haven't gotten much explanation of, and it's the Ultras.
Yeah, if it wasn't clear yet in terms of where we were, the music definitely is keying you into it here. New 13-star series. New ranks added to the urgent quest in the Retem region. Okay, so this is the crossover for this month, then? I don't know anything about this this thing, so I can't really comment.
I think this is the model kit that special model kit line that they were talking about.
Ah, gotcha.
I don't think this has any connection with, well, I'm trying to remember the name. Basically, they made they were the one. I don't think it's connected with the company that does the did the NGS, well, the base PSO2 model kits.
Gotcha. Also, Betsygen had a question for you.
Actually, I haven't updated Angel's wings. Ever since I got the wings that I need, Vestige, I don't need to update them. And yeah, Alpine Gremlin, I fully expect that because this model kit line is fully built around female characters, I'm not surprised that it's all Type 2.
Okay, new mission pass.
And the mission passes continue to be recycled items.
Yep. Yeah, you could easily see the aliasing on that mag there.
Alter Realm? Alter Realm. Oh, how was it? Let me go through the details with these slides, starting with this. We'll kick off the month with the Revival AC Scratch Ticket Rewind Collection July 2025 on July 1st. This AC Scratch Ticket contains prizes from July's past. The Scratch Count bonus features motion changes from past Scratch Count bonuses, as well as the majestic reappearance of the PSO2 spec weapon camo Randall Orbit. Check it out! Gold Big Bang Scratch tickets are coming back on July 2nd.
Ah, they're bringing it back.
You can win heaps of fabulous items, including up to 10 million N Meseta. This time, you have an even higher
they
probability
need to come on
win
somehow.
a Gamma Reactor. Complete the main task to Rhythm City to get a Gold Big Bang Scratch ticket and try your luck. Get additional tickets through limited time quests, the reward box, treasure scratch, and more. The reward box will be available from July 2nd. Clear out the box to get a Gold Big Bang Scratch ticket in Step 2. Next up, we're releasing a new quest type called Alter Realm Exploration Interception Sectors. Alter Realm Exploration Interception Sectors is a quest type where up to 32 players work together to destroy the powerful boss enemies that spawn at regular intervals in the Alter Realm, a new space that has suddenly appeared. The High Renis and High Eliminata boss enemies that appear belong to a new enemy type called High Enemies. These are strong enemies with higher stats and more varied attack patterns. In this quest, you can weaken the boss enemies that appear by defeating the other enemies in the field or by completing trials.
It says it doesn't support all-ship matchmaking.
The key is to weaken the powerful boss enemies
I'm
as
not
much as
surprised
possible
because
before
all
the battle
ship
begins.
matchmaking has caused issues very often with all the lag.
Please note
It's
that all
because
ship matchmaking is not supported for this quest.
all ship matchmaking tends to lead to lag because suddenly
Along
all
with
the
this new
players
quest,
just
title tasks
kind
and
of cram
limited time
onto
tasks
one
will
ship
also
to
be
do
added.
that.
Yep.
And they
Complete the task to earn titles, Gold Big Bang Scratch tickets July 2025, and Augment Transfer Pass vouchers, and more. The new 13-star rarity Juvalg weapon series will make its debut. In addition to boosting damage resistance and critical rate, the Juvalg series also lowers PP consumption and has an effect that makes it easier to fill up your photon blast gauge when attacking. This series also lets you do an augment transfer without consuming an N augment transfer pass and will be further enhanced in future updates.
okay, so that's our build-up weapon.
Yep.
That
It can
makes
be
me
obtained
happy.
in
I like
ultra-realm
that
exploration,
design.
So grab your gear and get questing.
Yeah, so I think the way they're
A
doing
new
it now
rank will
is
be added
if
to
you get
urgent
lucky,
quests in the
then you're
Resin
set
region.
with your weapon for the next, what, 4 to 6
Mining
months, and
Rig
then
Defense
you also
Resin
get a
will
weapon
now
series
top
like
out
this
at
as
rank
well,
4,
potentially.
and Omen of the Planet Breaker will have a
If you
newly
just don't
added
have
rank
lucky.
2.
If you don't
Both
don't
have an
the
enemy
luck for
level
that.
of 105. Rewards have also been updated, so now is the perfect time to play. Limited time tasks and title tasks will also be added for these new urgent quest ranks. Complete these tasks to get your hands on titles, and Master Cubes, Silver Big Bang Scratch tickets, and more. An NGS collab with the popular original plastic model series Arcanadia will launch on July 2nd. In addition to a collab scratch ticket, we'll have a limited time login bonus during the collab period. New AC scratch ticket, Arcanadia style. Grab fabulous items, including outfits and hairstyles that transform your character into Lumitia, Velretta, Yukumo, and Sophiera, as well as weapon camo and emotes that recreate their iconic poses. NGS Season 46 of the Mission Pass will be available starting July 8th. In addition to stamps and accessories, the lineup includes valuable items such as personal shop use, 3 days, and SG scratch ticket prize slips carried over from previous releases.
Yep, from back in
This Mission
PSO2.
Pass also includes the Lightning Glow Izaneshiki and Izanetsuchi armor accessories from PSO2, the new accessory screw propeller, and the Magform Vox doll modeled after the Vox plushie. Don't miss it!
They say modeled after the
All the
Vox
mags in this Alpha
plushie.
Creature
But
series
where's
are so cute!
where the heck do you get the Vox plushie?
Moving on, we have the Revival AC scratch tickets, Type 1 Costume Revival July 2025,
sure.
and
I wonder if
Type
it's a
2
mo-
Costume Revival July
Or
2025.
it's just a model. It's just a model for a plushie they were playing that they
These
just couldn't
scratch
get anyone to
tickets are
pick up.
collections of Type 1 and Type 2 layering wear and cast parts released in the past. Popular past outfits like the cotton ball suit and the cardigan student make their long-awaited return, so grab the gear you've been pining for and go wild with character creation. That's all for the updates coming in the first half of the month. Now, let's take a look at the updates starting July 16th, starting with this video.
Let's see what they got.
Okay, old
Gal
PSO
Griffin.
track. Oh, it's another rehash.
Yep. I mean, at this point, they're doing so many rehashes that it's like Even though a quest is limited time, you just know it'll be back next year.
Pretty much.
Ah, new armor. Not tradable in personal shop. That does, I guess, give players finally a grind that they can't cheat their way through then.
Well, the base armor is still purchasable from the player shop, but the materials you can't get without playing the quests. I still think the original PSO audio tracks have more soul to them than NGS's music.
I think you're right on that, yeah. Yeah, Alpine, this is from the central control area in Phantasy Star Online.
If I'm correct, the title for this track is Lush Forest Cage, or something like that.
That sounds right. Might be Lush Jungle Cage. I'm not sure.
How was it? Let me go through the details with these slides, starting with this. The limited time quest, Drill, the twin-horned raven from beyond, will be available starting July 16th. This updated version of the previously released quest, the twin-horned raven from beyond, features boosted enemy levels. The quest's environment changes daily, cycling through jungle, mountain, and coastal areas with support at each location from Aina, Manon, and Dozer.
Okay, so this seems like it's starting to become a more regular thing for them
ARKS
then.
defenders can participate in this quest.
With the
Join forces
daily
with your friends to
rotations.
face the boss enemy, Ruin Griffin.
And at least, I'd say
There will
that's at
also be
least a
limited
little bit
time
of an
tasks and title
improvement
tasks
from
for
how
this
things
limited
used
time
to be.
quest.
It starts to get towards what I wanted, although
Complete these
still
tasks
not
and
quite
titles,
100%
Beta
there.
Reactors, Silver Big Bang Scratch Tickets, Gold Big Bang Scratch Tickets July 2025, and more.
Precision, I was just saying that, yeah,
The 12
new
star
alter
rarity
lore
Progress armor
might
will
be
upgradable
coming.
to new equipment.
We just don't know yet.
This time you will have two options to choose from. Eskel armor, which boosts
Yeah,
HP
Alpine,
and
that's...
and Eskel
go
armor
ahead.
Lise, which significantly
No,
increases
basically we're
HP
probably
at the cost of
saying the
reducing
exact
your
same
PP.
thing. Yeah, we agree, right?
Yeah, the randomization is one of the
Both
other
options
things that
come
they
with
still need to
added
do,
damage
so
reduction,
randomized
providing greater
enemies
protection against
in
enemy
different
attacks.
orders throughout the quest.
Furthermore, the required upgrade material Progrevents will be available through limited time quests and other content, so tackle new challenges to upgrade your gear. Treasure Scratch Volume 9 kicks off on July 16th. Grab useful items such as N Augment Item Protection and Augment Capsules.
it's actually pretty bad about
What's
giving
more,
us
the scratch
giving
count
us
bonus will
content that
feature
doesn't
a
feel
gold
like
Big
a
Bang
waste
scratch
of
ticket.
time either. Almost everything
Complete daily
that's
tasks and
got
Western
unique
region
structure
urgent quests
around
to
it
earn treasure
almost
scratch
is
tickets.
always some sort of VR field where basically
We'll
nothing
also
we're
be
doing
holding
actually has
Phantasy
any real
campaigns at the
meaning.
same
It's just
time,
more
offering pre-announced
wasted
urgent
training.
quests that can be completed twice, and more. Don't miss your chance to snag a gold Big Bang scratch ticket. Next up, we have the AC Scratch Ticket Multi-Remix Line July 2025. This scratch ticket features alternative versions of previously released items, including accessories, eyes, eyelashes, makeup, and body paint. This lineup offers a wide range of customization options such as two-tone color versions of extension-type accessories, innerwear versions of body paint,
At least what
alternate
it'll
color
do
versions of
is
eyes, and
it'll
more.
make it so that I don't feel like I'm
Our
done
more
playing the quest
fashion-minded
after like the
arcs are
first
sure to
version.
appreciate this lineup. Don't miss out.
Or done after a single time in the week.
The scratch count bonus also includes Magi's
That's just
Threadkeeper
it. I
2S and revivals
mentioned
of
that
popular accessories
in-
like frilly balloon
And
bosom.
I mentioned
Keep an eye
that
out for
in the
those too.
Discord that the gems being randomized made it so that even if you're just playing it solo, the quest feels
The revival
interesting.
AC Scratch Ticket, PSO2 Memories July
Because
2025.
even up till
will
the
launch
very
alongside
last
the July
run,
21st
it was still
PSO2 day.
surprising me with some of the gem locations.
Bringing
Avatar
back the
items released in
Weird
PSO2 make
Arcs
their
and
return.
Rare Drop Koi Koi outfit there.
The scratch count bonus offers a prize slip every 15 draws and another chance at the emote Sierra Pose. Hey, I remember that happy coat. That's Festival Heart? It was first released on July 22nd, 2015. Wow, it's been 10 years.
There's a
PSO2 Memories will continue
There's
to
a
arrive on
rule.
the PSO2 day on the 21st of each month.
there's a rule in fiction where you don't
The lineup will
reference a
change each
better,
time, so
older
keep your
work.
eyes peeled.
Otherwise, to make the players wish they could go back and play that.
The AC Scratch Ticket Summer Sky Seaside 2025 surfs in on July 22nd. Dive into this summer-themed lineup of swimwear outfits, cropped hoodies, and motion change items featuring floaties and surfboards, perfect for a day at the beach. The scratch count bonus turns up the heat with alternative versions of the motion change items, including the scratch ticket prizes on a Rappy Floaty EX Glide and Dash. That concludes the update information for today. Moving on to the next segment.
Hopefully now they'll get into the new roadmap.
NGS Operation Report.
In this segment, the NGS Operation Report, I will share answers from the development and live ops teams in response to players' questions and comments. We will begin with the letter from the developers, a message from the dev team to all the ARKS defenders. This time, we will also have a video message, so let's take a look.
Hello to all the ARKS out there. Series Director of Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, Hamazaki here. NGS has reached its 4th anniversary. We couldn't have made it here without our ARKS. Thank you for continuing to enjoy the game. This time, I'd like to go through the roadmap for the second half of 2025. In July, interception sectors will be coming to the new Alter Realm field. This new type of sector focuses more on combat than
A
exploration.
whole bunch of mini
In
episodes.
these sectors, up to 32 players
no
battle
full
against
chapters.
powerful boss enemies that appear at regular intervals. Many new enemies, as well as enemies from the currently active
very
limited
much.
time urgent quest, Shadow of the Fallen Star, are planned to be featured. Additionally, we will be holding a collab with the original plastic model series Arcanadia, which features a sci-fi crossed with fantasy theme. August will bring with it a class update, including
They're bringing in one of the bosses from PSO2 again
and gunner
in
classes.
August to September.
Long requested adjustments to chain boost.
Actually,
will
that
also
bring
be
back
implemented
too.
during this update.
That's true over on the right as well. Actually, December to January? That's a
Celebrate the
PSO-styled
13th
Rappy.
anniversary of PSO2. The Super Fantasy Festival will feature a campaign where you can get up to 100 free AC scratch ticket pulls. We've added some new items too, so be sure to log in and check them out. Moreover, new mini-episode content and summer-themed limited-time quests are also on the way, as well as the return of familiar enemies to commemorate PSO2's 13th anniversary.
Yeah,
In
that's the
September,
problem. That's
a
the
new
thing.
combat sector will be added to the Altar Realm. This sector will offer a
They
fresh
need
combat
to give
experience
up on
featuring
the
unique
whole
trials and
limited
enemies
story
distinct from
nonsense
those in the
and
intersection
go
sectors coming
go
into
hard
it.
on actually making a better story.
Yep.
Looking ahead to October, the class level cap will be raised to 110, and a new player update, the EX style system, will be introduced.
We're going back to extra jewels again.
EX style is a new system that expands player actions, functioning like a third class. It's still in development, but we have prepared a preview video for you all.
Let's see what we got here.
Who the crap?
What did you think?
Whoever made that
We'll be
trailer
revealing
needs to
more
be
details
fired.
at a later date,
I'm
including
sorry.
future broadcasts, so stay tuned.
That I hate it.
Yeah.
We'll also be releasing a new item category, Skill Rings. It's a class of equipment separate from weapons and armor that further enhances the player's abilities. You can look forward to more details on this in future broadcasts. We'll also be launching a limited-time urgent quest where you'll face off against a new enemy, the one whose silhouette is teased on the roadmap. On top of that, an extra duel quest will be available, featuring a showdown with a different formidable foe instead of the usual Ruin Masquerader. In November, a new field will be released unlike any other release before, featuring new visuals and unique gameplay mechanics. The Super Genesis Festival in December will be jam-packed with exciting anniversary content, including the appearance of PSO 25th anniversary enemies and a limited-time urgent quest, where you take on a new Dark Falls class large boss enemy. As we do every anniversary, we'll be giving away free pulls from both AC and SG scratch tickets. We also plan to release legendary weapon upgrades and a collab scratch
That's
ticket
one of
with a
the
Sega game
ultimate
title.
bosses from base PSO2.
Also,
It
as 2026
was a
will be the year of
mechanic.
NGS's
It was a
fifth
Lilliput
launch anniversary,
ultimate
we plan
Lilliput
to launch
boss.
a large-scale
Yeah, they're
one-year
both of
run
them.
from February onwards.
One from Lil Pa and one from oh, what is it called
We'll be
again?
releasing tons of new content, starting with Ultra PSO2.
The planet that Shao is on.
Expansions to the Slayer class, new mini-episode content, updates to Nameless City. and
Thank you,
more
I'm
are on the
Duskia.
way. Stay tuned for what's in store for NGS. This concludes the roadmap section. What did you think?
But yeah, it's really interesting seeing that PSO
Thank you for playing
styled
NGS
Rappy in
throughout
there.
the first half of 2025.
I don't think that's Nat. I don't think that's Nat Rappy. I think that's
The
classic
development
PS.
and live
That's
ops team
classic
will
rag
continue
rapping.
striving to make
Yeah, that's what I'm
NGS
saying.
Fun and engaging for all our players well into the future. We hope you continue to enjoy NGS throughout the latter half of 2025 as we approach the 5th launch anniversary. See you again soon.
A big thank you to series director Hamazaki. Looks like the second half of 2025 is packed with loads of fun content too. But we need more details. A new Rappy? And a dragon? What now? Whenever I have more details, I'll be sure to let you know through this broadcast. Continuing on to the next section, I have answers to players' questions and comments from the development and live operations teams. Here's the first one. You can't skip the quest clear animation sometimes, which makes repeatedly playing the same quest take longer. Are there any plans to fix this? Here is their response. We plan to address this with 2 fixes, making it so the trial clear animation is skipped when the trial is a quest completion requirement, and making the reward acceptance menu open immediately after the quest completion animation plays. That was their answer. Let's
Is
move
that
on to
to
the next
stop
question.
players from immediately abandoning the quest once it
It's
finishes?
annoying how boss enemies' HP gauges aren't always displayed during quests. Can you fix this? Here is their response. We are planning to make it so that all boss enemies' HP gauges are displayed with an update in August. That was their answer. That's all for our Q&A today. Moving forward, we will continue to bring your questions and feedback to the development and operations teams and share their
Short
answers with
Q&A
you.
today.
Please share
My
your thoughts and
suspicion is
opinions
we're
about
at the
this
point
program
where
and the game
there's-
on X and other social media.
My suspicion is
using
at
the
this
same
point
hashtag
they're
as the
trying to
previous
limit
headline
how much
series,
resources they
NGS
use on
Headline.
this because they're trying to work on the other games they have on their plate.
Moving on to the next
Could be,
section.
yeah.
NGS satellite information.
Now let's move on from updates and talk about some other NGS-related info. I'm sure it will get you even more hyped to play the game.
I doubt it.
Let's start with this.
Yeah, August, the
We're
second half of
holding a
August is
meme
like
contest using
completely
panels
empty
from
aside from
Central,
that
the PSO2 comic series published regularly on the official player
Gal
site.
Griffin thing, but even that's just not much.
The NGS team and the original comic artist Fudejin will be picking the best memes to be featured in-game as
Second
text.
half of July, I mean.
From Wednesday, July 25th to Wednesday, July 30th, we'll share 4 comic panels on our official X account to use as meme templates. To participate, just reply to the template post with your meme and include the hashtag central_meme. Hit us with your best memes. The web-exclusive storefront PSO2NGS web store opened on Wednesday, June 18th. It offers deals on in-game items for NGS.
We'll be touching on this
In
briefly a
addition
little
to
bit
store
later.
bonus, which provides better deals than regular AC purchases, it features an exclusive 55% discount off your first purchase of select items. Please be aware that AC purchased from the PSO2NGS web store cannot be used on the PS4 version.
Interesting, despite the fact that
The PSO2
it's illegal
NGS
for
web store can be
PlayStation to
accessed
actually
from the
deny
PSO2
that now.
NGS official website. Hover over Buy AC on the official website or game launcher, then select Web Store. Please note that the web store cannot be accessed from in-game. We'll once again be holding our annual Super Fantasy Festival event to commemorate the 13th anniversary of PSO2. The festival will kick off in early August 2025. We're cooking up new fabulous campaigns, so stay tuned. NGS is launching a collab with Toho Project. It is scheduled to begin in
Toho.
August 2025.
Okay.
That might
This
wake
collab will
up
feature
some of the
various
players.
items inspired by Toho
Yeah.
Kyo, the embodiment of Scarlet Devil. Additionally, we will be including popular arrangement tracks from Sega's rhythm games.
But that
as
means
music.
they also gotta bring out like a boss that has like a Danmaku
Now, allow me to
style
briefly
bullet
introduce
patterns.
Toho Project. Toho Project is a collection of works created by Team Shanghai Alice. It primarily revolves around bullet hell shooting games, but also includes books, music CDs, and other media, offering a wide range of content. Set in the fictional Japan-inspired world of Gensokyo, the series is celebrated for its distinctive atmosphere, original background music, and a cast of unique characters with quirky personalities and intriguing backstories. The depth of its lore and the world building has captivated fans, with many creating their own creative works. More details will be announced in the next Headline Wave broadcast. Stay tuned! That's all for the satellite information.
I remember Toho started on like the PC-88 or 98, if I remember correctly.
Such as concept art, in-game songs,
but then it's expanded to other systems since
team.
then, of course.
This time, we're highlighting the background music tracks for the Malignant Dark Falls Vile fight, Dark Falls Vile, and Driven by Hope. Here is a comment from the composer Kobayashi. Since there are two parts to the Dark Falls Vile battle, I composed the BGM for it from the perspectives of Vile for the first half and the ARKS for the second half. I tried my hardest to ensure that the BGM for the first half of the battle really fit the mood of facing off against a Dark Falls enemy. Since this is Vile, I also wanted to inject some of its vileness into the music. I personally like the phrases in the beginning and the middle of the song, but apparently all of you beautiful ARKs chip away at its health a lot faster than anticipated, so you really don't get to listen to it all that much. Come on, Vile, beat him down! Kobayashi? The second half of the battle was also built into the quest itself. There was a variety of battles and effects this time, but since the conclusion of the battle connects to the ending video, I wanted to ensure that the song really gets you immersed into the story as you play the quest. I felt that a song that ends without needing to be looped would be better at conveying that. So after imagining what should go with each quest component, I decided that it should conclude with the chorus's melody played by strings and got ready for the recordings. But while we were recording the guitar afterwards, I thought, wait a minute, isn't the melody here better with the guitar thrown in too? So I ended up adding it on the spot right there. Thinking back, I'm really glad I did. I'm really grateful to the guitarists for all their help.
Funny thing is, I reached out to Hideaki Kobayashi a little bit after after the track got released, and I asked him specifically what happens functionally in the game if the players happen to take him down very quickly, given that the game doesn't have loops like the typical track does. And he says that the track, or rather, he basically said in his post that the boss, if it gets taken down too quickly, will not just simply hold its HP at 1 until the right moment in the music is reached. So that was a fun little bit of an ask I put out there.
I also tweaked the tone quality and some finer details for the stronger Malignant Dark Falls Vial. Apart from adjusting the rhythm for the first half of the battle, I also added more synths to give it a power boost. For the second half of the battle, I adjusted not just the rhythm, but the overall sound quality as well, so that it has a more energetic feel to it. To all of you ARKs who challenged Dark Falls Vial, thank you.
The flames rise higher, and the struggle fading into dark. With trembling hands we strike to bring it all down. The path we walked is paved with grief, but we won't back down no matter the cost ahead. Steel and shadows meet in countless attacks.
It's a shame Kobayashi put so much effort into this track when basically Vale is built up horribly. At this point, if the story ever does get better, Vile will basically be our road bump, a bump in the road at this point.
Yep.
Of course, most of the early story will be the same way as well. It'll be something you skip to get to the better parts of the game. I refuse to play it at this point. There's no reason I need to play it, because there's no story. There's no story connection with them. I just refuse to because it's not worth my time.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
What did you think? We will discuss other concept art and songs in the coming episodes, so please look forward to it.
And the thing is, I think a lot of other players are the same way as well,
That's all
because
for this episode of NGS Headline Wave.
the release of Veil barely even made a bump in player
This broadcast strives to
participation.
make NGS even better by collecting audience input.
I don't mean the
Please share your
original
thoughts and
release, I
feedback
mean
on this program and the game by
the,
using the same hashtag as the previous broadcast.
malevolent version.
Hashtag NGS Headline on X. Together, we can make NGS an even more fantastic game. Did you all notice my new NGS Headline t-shirt? Look at the ARKS promotion squad on the back. It's the squad's 10th anniversary this year. I'll work hard for our 11th
That music
year
segment
too.
was okay. I'd say
The
they can
next
probably
episode
shorten
of
it up
NGS
just a
Headline
little
Wave
bit.
will be released on Tuesday, July 29th. It'll focus on updates coming in August. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now then, ARKS, I'll see you in the next NGS Headline Wave. Bye-bye.
All right. Real quick, let us kind of go back here on the on that roadmap here, just to make sure we got everything that we wanted to see from that.
Star, our plan to be.
Okay, there we go. So we've got the Lucille exploration update coming in August or September. Wicker expansion, new enemies, and the new mini episode.
Okay, they have two modes for the Alter Combat Realm.
Apparently. Unless what that means is they're going to be adding it to like Aelio and Kavaris and Stia.
I mean, I
That's
wouldn't
the only
be
thing I can think.
surprised.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised because they're basically copying and pasting the areas and then copying over, then just jabbing starless textured materials into the fields then.
Yep. This was something I missed before. October to November, new item system skill rings. So that sounds like that might be something similar to what we had back in base PSO2.
And also the X style,
Yep.
which was not impressive at all. Well, the trailer didn't make me very impressed for him.
Yeah, it like explained nothing about it.
Whoever made that trailer, I'm still saying needs to be fired at this point. And especially if they chose that music.
Yeah, we need more information about that before we can give it a true judgment. But yeah, that trailer lasted what, like 10, 15 seconds at most?
It felt like 5. Felt like you could blink. If you blinked at the wrong time, you would have missed it all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. It I don't know. Let's see. Then we get to December, January. Uh, New field update. Actually, there's a new field update in October to November as well. So I wonder what those are all about.
New nameless city, which makes me wonder what the heck they have planned there. But
Maybe that's them finally getting us to the other side of the city where we're doing where we're finally gonna check out the Clarissa. They really don't have. Go ahead.
I'm just going to ask Nirudin. Mattel, do you mean Matoy? Yeah, Naruto and if you're talking about a toy, I am kind of worried that they might do a thing where, okay, so there's this phenomenon where basically if an older character is more popular than a newer character, they will try to destroy the older character through basically character assassination, then try to talk up the newer character, and they've been struggling to get people to care about Matoy and Manon. It's one of those things where, ironically, I think if they actually gave up trying to force those characters down our throat, that they would actually be liked a lot more if they just had a chance to grow properly.
I think you mean Ina and Manon.
Wait, did I? Yes, Ina and Manon. Boy, sorry. But yeah, that is a problem. That it's a thing where if they want you to like a newer character over an older character, and some of these media, especially when they're starting to struggle like this, they will do a character assassination on the older character essentially in order to make you. Yeah, message that is also another problem. What story we're getting isn't probably worth the effort. I mean, it's like we're getting. If I recall, it was like every 2 weeks we would get at least every 2 weeks in base PSO2 we would get at least 5 minutes of story. Where in NGS we get 5 minutes of story like every 2 months, and that's not accept. In NGS it's like every 5 months, every 2 months we get a 5 minute episode, and that's just not enough.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's happening here. August to September, and then October, November, December to January, and then sometime in February. And again, we got this scary thing where it's where the roadmap is going out not basically 8 months here instead of the typical 6.
Honestly, I would not be surprised if Sega is looking at their look is basically on the side, looking at wristwatch, saying, "Okay, we're waiting for you to fix this game," and they're about ready to pull the plug. I won't be surprised if they're getting close to being ready to pull the plug on Sega Sapporo. Right now, I think they're just waiting for them to finish up their they finish up the um Jet Grind Radio and Crazy Taxi live service games just to see if those flop or not.
Yeah, it's a really sad situation how this has all played out. Something though, I want to go back to this Rag Rappy here. So obviously that means the collab scratch ticket is going to be Phantasy Star Online. But in terms of the new large boss enemy, they've got a question mark here. And since I would not expect this one to really be story relevant, I'm wondering if maybe they're going to try to bring another boss from PSO back into PSO2. Like maybe this time we'll get like Derole or maybe Olga Flo or something like that. That at least would be kind of fun to see.
It would be fun, but they would have to really, really redesign it. I mean, we have Random Arenas, and that is basically NGS's version of the Derole.
That's true. So then, yeah, then I would probably hope for more Olga Flo then, because they already brought that back once before in Phantasy Star Portable 2 Infinity, and that would so it's not like they don't have a model that they couldn't simply import to the game.
But it would also be so out of it would be also so um out of date that the aliasing would be horrendous on it.
Maybe, I guess we'll have to see. But
And
go ahead.
Nuneroden, I'm not sure if they would do that to Matoy. I think they would. I think there is someone on the sidelines, kind of tugging on Sega Sapporo's choke collar right now. And if they try to damage one of the most liked game characters from Phantasy Star Online too, there might be they might actually get Sega to come crashing down on them that way. So it's not a guaranteed thing that they might try, but it's also one of those things where it's definitely a worry that they might do something like that. But with how things are going right now, I'm also worried that they are going to figure what little updates we got from Chapter 7 is all we need, and they'll try to continue on with the ignoring everything connected to base PSO2.
Yep, and they do still have this picture of Vale here in August to September, so we'll have to see what that means. I mean, Veal. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about on the roadmap here?
Just kind of excited to see X Dragon. And yes, that's X Dragon over there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that thing is. Didn't we see so on the October to November one, didn't we see that silhouette in a previous roadmap?
I'm not
Or
sure
something?
if we did or not.
Because it looks so familiar, but I can't figure out. It's like it was in the previous roadmap, but it just disappeared out of the blue. I mean, this just completely disappeared on us.
You know what? Let's do this. Let me go back to this here, and let me shrink this down so we can actually pull it up on the website. Let's see. Here we go, and then let's see if this has been updated yet. No, it's not there. It's not on the last one.
Well, I mean, it was like when we saw it, it was on a far, far back roadmap.
Do they even have the old ones? Let's see.
I don't think so.
Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't think it has the prior roadmaps here.
All right.
Well, it is what it is. So we'll be able to figure this out. I guess eventually here, whatever that thing was. All right, one moment. We do have some other things we need to talk about today here. All right, so... Oops, it didn't switch over. Here we go. So, all right. So we wanted to bring up something about the account suspensions here. And Brooks, you were the one that first noticed this here. So, right now, or rather in May, there were only 33 cases of account suspensions. But the really kind of interesting thing about this is this was the first month where there were no instances of RMT happening.
So, at this point, I've been wondering, okay, so anyone who's been with NGS for a long time knows how difficult, how annoying the bots were. Basically, we would get Ahmed bots shouting about RMT in the middle of the lobby, and it would basically be a game of whack-a-mole with those accounts. But they would also be often the quests grinding money and such. So for a long time, RMT was a major aspect of account suspensions. And this is literally, if you go back 1 month, you would see like 3 account suspensions that were associated directly with RMT this time. First off, like right here, it says 33 cases, and that actually, yep, it says and out of those 32 cases of suspensions, only 1 is RMT related.
Yep, and
so
it's been kind of hanging around around this area for a little bit here. In fact, the last time RMT was really a major issue was actually, if we go back to September of last year, here it was at 102 cases. Sorry for cutting you off there.
It's okay. But yeah, at this point, it's making it look like to me that either they have successfully that. Here's the thing, I'm very suspicious about this, but it's very suspicious that this might be the case. I mean, I would be very suspicious about this being the actual case, but it looks like the new anti-cheat might have had some help, might have been some help against this. But also, what I really suspect is going on is that the player count is so low right now that the gold farmers are just looking around and saying there's just no point in working and running this game anymore. So what we're seeing now, well, I suspect now, the reason why we're not seeing any RMT related cases right now, I suspect we're about to, the real reason I suspect we're not seeing any more RMT cases is just simply because there's not enough of a player base for the cheaters to actually make use of.
Yep, that could very well be the case.
And there's also one more reason why I suspect that. First off, I actually went and did some research with the help of AI searching through documents, and what they said is that China makes about 40% of the gold farmers, and China has been having some really hard times right as of late. So I suspect that might have actually forced many of these gold farmers to focus on more profitable games. But it's also despite all this is kind of good news because it means that there will be hopefully less inflation over time. Eventually, we'll see less inflation in the player markets.
Yep, we'll have to see if that actually comes true. I've been hanging out around 100 million Meseta for a while or so now, and I mean at least a couple of years at this point. I've gone up, but then I've gone down with some of the purchases I've made off the player market. So it's really not. At least for me, I haven't noticed too much inflation, but I get what you're saying, especially with the current 13-star prices. Yeah, those are sky high right now.
But also, I'm going to also mention, the Japanese side is also showing this as well. I mean, do you have the Japanese version of this?
Of this page? Give me a moment. Let me see if I can get that loaded up here. I'm going to take this away for just a moment.
Okay, I posted in Dawns ARKS general chat.
Okay. Here we are. I see, so there were only 16 accounts that got banned.
Yeah, and the Japanese side has two things going for it. One, the player base is very well behaved. There are times I kind of wish I stayed on the Japanese side, but at the same time, I had a suspicion that they were going to chase off international players at the time. But there's player base is just generally well behaved. But that doesn't usually prevent RMT. And the suspension level is also very low as well. It's only 16 versus the 33 on the global side. The global side has fewer players, by the way. So that means that maybe the player base on the Japanese side is not quite as big as we have been led to believe as well.
It could be. I mean, they haven't announced anything for like hitting like a certain number of million player accounts or anything like that in quite some time. Yeah, so it's interesting to see kind of where this is all going here. That RMT is just either not happening anymore, or it's just not being noticed that for anybody to really report it at this point. So I guess we'll see if that trend continues or not as things continue on here. Anything else you wanted to say on this?
Not really, except that if you see anyone, and if you catch any bots or see anything, report to Sega. If we can if the game ever gets popular again, I would love to see it keep the RMTers out as much as possible.
Totally agree on that one.
And simply behave yourself. We don't really need you guys. It's one of those things. This may be rated M for mature game over here in the West, but we really don't need you guys creating pornographic characters, so please don't do that anymore. Otherwise, you definitely deserve to get suspended.
Yep. And I don't think we want to get to the point where the game receives a, an AO rating?
Yep. I mean, online interactions are not rated, but if it gets bad enough, I can definitely see someone come tapping Sega on their shoulder going, what the heck is going on here? Why haven't you shown us these things? So it's, yeah, please just behave yourselves. No one wants to see your nonsense.
Nor do I suspect anybody wants to have to, like, submit pictures of their driver's license to even be able to play the game in order to verify their identity as an adult. Alright, let's move on to the next one here. So there were some bugs that occurred from back in June. Specifically, the looping tasks for the NPC Ronald Dean were accepted unintentionally. As part of that, they determined it was necessary to reset the looping task in order to resolve the issue, and they sent out compensation for this with maintenance on the 18th. The issue was originally reported back on the 4th, it looks like.
Yeah, when I logged in on the 4th, I got a nasty surprise of seeing a whole bunch of new tasks just suddenly shoved into my side task log. So, for a while I was thinking, oh, are they trying to kind of push people into buying? I was for a while suspicious that they were trying to push us to buy premium so that we expand our accepted task list. But thankfully that was not actually the case.
Right. Let's move on to the next one here. There was an issue where performance may become sluggish during quests. This was originally reported on the 11th, and it seemed to be related to, or actually it was originally reported on the 4th here. So it looked like the majority of the issue was coming from the number of drops that were coming from the quest, and so what they did is they reduced the drops for some of the items that were happening. And I mean, this probably needs to be a little bit of a lesson to Sega that, you know, you don't have to shove all your drops into a single quest. Players are happy to go to 2 different quests to get 2 of the things that they need.
I would actually heavily recommend that they actually push players to play multiple quests, to have multiple quests going at the same time. I know they're worried about certain quests being abandoned after a short period of time, but it's basically they are worried about making sure that there's always a group of players and all the important content. Because there have been cases where new quests would come out and suddenly after the initial wave passed through, it would be difficult for anyone to actually continue playing that new content. Because there would not be any other players in it. And it's one of those things where I understand their thought patterns in trying to funnel players into one piece of content at a time. But this is also creating the situation where you have players getting burned out rapidly on that one piece of content as well.
Yep. Yeah, having the quests rotate at least every day now is at least helping a little bit with that. But there's really no reason to be completely abandoning the old quests.
And also, I suspect this is not just the drops causing this issue. It was also because this quest, when it came out, was also when we actually saw concurrent players on Steam almost reach 2,000 again. On Steam charts, we actually saw the concurrent player count actually almost reach 2,000. It hasn't been that way in months. So that was also probably the reason why we were seeing heavy lag on an all player ship.
Yep. Alright, let's move on to the next thing here. So, after they did the last headline, they put out another letter here from the team. So we'll just kind of go through this real quick here. On June 9th, 2025, PSO2 New Genesis NGSv2 celebrated the 4th anniversary of its launch. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank all our ARKS defenders for continuing to enjoy the game. In June of last year, the long-awaited new field Nameless City was released. In July, the new card game Line Strike was implemented, alongside the PSO2 12th anniversary event, Super Fantasy Festival. In August, the new action system Mars was released. which shook up the combat system in a big way. Outside the game, we held our first offline event in a while, ARKS Summer Party 2024. In all of our ARKS defenders had a great time partaking in the various attractions, including a line strike tournament and a skit featuring a crossover between two pairs of familiar heroines. Also in October, the new face option Animatic Face made its debut, opening up a new world of possibilities in character creation. From December 2024 to February 2025, the Winter Update Festival of Light and the Dark Tyrant brought extra duel-type quests, and Dark Falls Vial and Chapter 7 reached its climax. Meanwhile, we held our first nationwide offline event in about 5 years, the ARKS Friendship Caravan, which took place all across Japan. Unlike previous nationwide events, this event was invitation only. ARKS got the chance to reconnect offline after a long hiatus as they participated in Time Attack and Line Strike tournaments, and the excitement was palpable at every venue. In March, NGS Headline ended with the graduation of Hiro Arai after 4 years at the helm. Yui Hasegawa, who acted as MC at the ARKS Friendship Caravan among other events, took over as MC of the new NGS Headline Wave. Widely regarded as the face of the ARKS community, Hasegawa has received praise for her performance as the new MC. The 4th anniversary event, Super Origin Festival, will run from spring until summer this year. Following the festival, the summer update, The Realm of Awakened Fantasies, will introduce the new Animatics face and a powered-up Malignant Dark Falls Vial, plus 13-star rarity weapons and tons of other updates you won't want to miss. Keep your eyes peeled. We've had lots of positive feedback regarding updates, campaigns, and offline events over the course of this year. Admittedly, they have been making some improvements, but it's still not where we want things to be, right, Rooks?
At this point, I'm going to say something that's going to sound discouraging to the player base, but the thing is, you don't want praise from the current player base, because the current player base is how do I put this? Just the current player base is okay with the game as it is, but they're not the people you want the advice from if you want the game to actually improve again. That's really my opinion on the matter. Although I have seen several people actually give out pretty good advice as for what happens, but usually it's not they're not usually the very popular players either, because the current player base that really enjoys this game, that will defend it till its death, doesn't really play the game. They take screenshots, and that's really the issue. We have the player base that makes NGS, that is considered currently the core of NGS, is either too hardcore to give good advice for making the game good for expanding a player base again, or so is too casual. It's too casual for general purpose, for increasing the player count, because it's just too easy and what's the word I'm trying to think? It's just not engaging enough. That's the one I'm trying to think of. It's just not engaging enough to your average gameplay, to your average gamer out there. There was this very comfortable middle ground that base PSO2 had, and that's one of the things that helped bring a whole bunch of players over. like with the skill ring. That's one of the things I'm kind of excited about. They should have pointed that out, but the skill ring coming up actually is possibly a side con. Could potentially bring a important side non. It could just be middle ground content for players.
Yeah, I kind of have my suspicions that what that's going to do is something similar to base PSO2, where it allows you to effectively equip a third class's skills from the skill tree, but not actually have access to like that class's weapons or things like that. But yeah, that is something that I'm looking forward to seeing them put out as well here. Continuing on with their letter here, we will continue pushing forward with new content and adjustments to make NGS a more enjoyable experience for all users. While the story has reached an interlude with the defeat of Dark Falls Vile, we've received many comments from users who are looking forward to seeing what happens next. We will continue to regularly release new story content, including the post-Dark Falls Vile battle side story coming in July. Stay tuned.
Okay, so are we getting a side story for this month or not? Because that was not on the roadmap.
Yeah, that's they didn't even have anything like that in the videos, did they?
Yeah. That makes me wonder how much is getting shuffled around, or if possibly us complaining about the latest story. Okay. Do you mind could you explain your feelings briefly about the last bit of story we got from this game? The last two little scenes that they added in?
I mean, it was like, the thing lasted like, what, no more than like 5 minutes in total. It was like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, and I posted, now, for a while people have complained about the story, but then they disappeared because they were getting the message that NGS was not going to fix the story. But this is the first time even people who have usually defended NGS's story tooth and nail, defend the story, and finally said, okay, this is bad. This is very weak. We don't care about these side characters and it's making me wonder, if the July story got canceled after basically the player said, we don't care about this, we want actual plot.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, and I'll say this again, because it has been a while since I've mentioned the reason. For those of you that have joined me after I blew up back in December 2023, the reason that whole thing happened, and the reason, one of the reasons that happened, and the reason I don't cover stuff beyond the story at this point, is specifically because of how poorly they handled that situation with Manon, basically looking towards suicide there, and that is not how you, when putting somebody in front of a camera to say that they're okay, that's not how you handle someone in that sort of situation. That is exactly the wrong thing that you do, and I've never forgiven Sega for how they handled that scene, and that's why to this day that's why things are just the way that they are here on this channel right now, in terms of me not covering NGS version 2 content beyond the story. One of the reasons I've been hoping for a version 3 or an episode 2 this whole time is so that I could finally just wipe my hands of that and at least start somewhat fresh here. But we still have yet to see any hint of anything like that happening here.
Instead, it's starting to look like Super Banner was right. We're basically getting a ultimate mode instead, which may mean that they are actually looking at starting the process of winding down the game. But we still have yet to see. Because they still said, as far as I can tell, the high enemies are not the final threat, but possibly an envoy of the final threat.
Right. And only time will tell on that one, unfortunately. Alright, so the headline wave at the end of July will introduce our update roadmap for the second half of 2025. We have many new fun things planned, including a new player action system, an update including the new Alter Realm field, and an epic face-off with a certain large boss enemy. In addition, we'll be celebrating PSO2's 13th anniversary in July, PSO's 25th anniversary in December, and NGS's 5th anniversary next year. We are already working to make this 5th year of NGS a truly special one. All of our team members will continue putting their hearts into making this a fabulous game. Thank you for playing NGS version 2. So, going back to, where was it again? Here on the roadmap. So, yeah, so that Rappy right there, being in December, that lines up with the letter that they gave us here. So, we'll have to see what ends up happening with that, if they're actually porting a bunch of enemies over or something like that. All right.
I mean, it's not
on.
the worst
Go
thing
ahead.
they could. It's not the worst. Oh, sorry. It's not the worst thing they could do.
Yep, that's for certain. Okay. And then, so back on the 11th, they had an unscheduled maintenance, and that was to address the bug where performance could become sluggish during a quest. And then the last thing for New Genesis today that we have is the PSO2NGS web store. My god, what a what a cash grab this is.
So, can I explain why this happened?
Yep.
Okay, so a while ago there was a lawsuit placed against okay, so I'm guessing everyone here knows what the Epic Store is and the little I guess pissing match they had with Apple and Google. And basically that resolved in a situation where basically, as far as I understand, Epic won. And as a result, you do not actually have to buy in-game currency for these games through the stores that host the games. And at least in the United States. So what this is all about, honestly, is just so that Sega can basically avoid having to pay any dues to Steam, Sony, Microsoft, or Epic. Everything you buy here goes directly to Sega.
Yep. But it's very telling what's happening here when you look at the last one there, which is 54,170 AC, and it costs almost $500 there. And
At that price, I could get another Steam Deck.
It's not even that great of a deal, because if you compare it to the 5,410 AC one, you get, if you were to buy 10 of those, then it would be almost exactly the same amount of AC. The only bonus that you get by paying $500 is you get an extra 70 AC. That's worth what? Less than $1 or so?
basically AC is a penny. One AC is a penny. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even that great of a deal. So.
Yep, but they're desperate. But I don't see how this is actually going to draw even more players to buy though, because they're not, other than the sale, they're not really passing any of their savings on to the players. These are not cheap. These are not cheaper than the These are not cheaper than the store. So I would actually say maybe just continue buying from the. I mean, with this, there might even be complications with getting the AC from here to your account.
I wouldn't know. I haven't bought anything from this yet, and I don't know if I'm going to buy anything anytime soon. I mean, there is that one that's 55% off, but I mean, that's still. I don't know. There's no reason for me to buy anything right now.
Before NGS, I would almost spend $100 weekly. Well, not weekly, monthly on PSO2 because I was enjoying the game that much. It was my game at that point. When NGS started, I started cutting back on how much money I spent on the game until I basically just decided to go full free to play. In the last year, I have only spent at most $9 on the game, where I would have spent far more on base PSO2.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sort of in the same boat. I didn't spend as much money, but yeah, I definitely was purchasing AC back during the PSO2 days, and unfortunately, the way the game is right now, it's just not worth it.
Also, it makes you feel kind of dirty for enabling Sega's misbehavior. If they want me to spend money again on their game, I would heavily recommend that they actually make the game worth spending money on again.
Yep. Totally agree there. Alright, so that does it for New Genesis. Let's move on to things from throughout the community, starting with Clementine. So, back on June the 1st, they had a server update here. We'll get to that in a moment. They also said on the 22nd, to celebrate Sonic's birthday, players can say Happy Birthday Sonic in chat to become Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. They're still working on their summer event, Sonic Resort Blast. Unfortunately, it wasn't ready in time for Sonic's birthday. Once they have an exact date, they'll update you here. As a side note on that, I did notice in the that they had some notes on that in their test Discord, and part of that requires players to download and install some new files in order to get it working. So. The launcher is probably going to automate that when the full release version comes out. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the June updates for Clementine. So, starting off, the Ultimate Lobby has been renamed to Guardians Hub. Players can now access the following counters in the Guardians Hub: Ultimate Missions, Level Up Missions, and Versus Missions. For Level Up Missions, players can access boosted missions for rank C to S4. Each rank, the missions change, so players are no longer stuck at one mission for leveling. The other missions outside the counter will be unaffected, so players who like to take it slow can still do so. For Versus missions, these are missions players can compete against each other in. There's a Connect 4, same rules as the board game. The game won't automatically detect who wins, so it's up to you to know who won. There's also the Airboard Rally and the Sacred Arcs Pre. For drop updates, they added BT fragments for A spheres, Zon spheres, and Megaspheres to S4 area drops. For balance adjustments, Guntecker increased the Guntekker's ATP and TP by 10%. And for Crossbow, they added Ignore defense points to Crossbow's elemental bullets. And the ATP mod on elemental bullets has been reduced. They still do more damage with the ignored defense points added, though. And then for bug fixes, they fixed a bug where Svaltis' shield animation had an attack with a massive hitbox on it. That does it for Clementine updates, and then from Affinia, they've been having some maintenances. On the 3rd, there was a maintenance where there were a small number of changes to the server code to address some issues. And then just a little while ago, they started a maintenance, but as far as I'm aware, the details of that haven't come out yet. No, actually, it looks like it did just come out. Okay, so they fixed the lobby song played after a jukebox song ends in lobbies 21 to 26, or 21 and 26. They implemented a fix for a vanilla networking bug in the client that would cause some bizarre crashes during login and quest download, as well as areas that crash or became empty after a certain point. This bug would occur when the client had 2 or more partial reads of a single packet. In this case, the client would replace 1 to 3 bytes of incoming data with 0 bytes, which would have various side effects. They increased the size of the text space where the party /party info text is displayed. This command now shows the rare enemy rate for the party. They fixed the positioning of some HUD elements for widescreen and high-res HUD. The challenges record window is now aligned to the right side of the screen. Additionally, the try again list for the party leader and the list of players who caused the stage failure in challenge are centered and aligned to the right respectively. They fixed the position of the green arrow between the 2 symbol chats when capturing. They added a few more objects to the Omni spawn patches for upcoming quests. They added some additional camera shake parameters to advanced_config for accessibility. They fixed an old bug with the MA4 venue that could sometimes cause the rewards to be forced to a lower tier. The Endless Episode 1 and Endless Episode 2 quests received some updates. A player triggering a penalty will count a maximum of once per second. Passive HP drain effects such as items such as Luminous Field, 3 Seals, and Gale Gil no longer count towards the avoid taking damage objective. And the maximum amount of penalties allowed for reaching the 21st Dark Falls or Olga area is now 5 per player for 2 to 4 player parties, or from 3 per player. Up from 3 per player. They also modified the login server and client to display all 32 characters at character select. Many thanks to Fuzzicur Software for the implementation, references, and new serves GitHub repository. There are a couple of small issues with this at the moment. Character select is currently missing a scroll bar, and empty slots that display new character have an invalid level and are missing the slot number. They'll improve this soon. And they implemented a number of client and server changes to support solo versions of the challenge mode stages in the future. And they asked players to let them know if they run into any issues. So a lot of updates from Affinia here. All right. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up here today, Rooks?
I don't think so.
Alrighty then. And so with that brings us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Rooks and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
See ya, guys.